What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I either have a very informative and really fun guide to bring to you, or a total flop of a video to bring to you, and I'm about ready to tell you why. I wanted to do a quick video going over how attacking and defending frontiers work, the PvP side of things within Once Human. That being said, I've attempted to record this video twice already, and it didn't work because there was actually a bug in the game where the terminal that you're supposed to attack in the enemy's base didn't properly spawn where it was supposed to, so it was basically impossible for us to win. I'm hoping, I sent in some bug reports, that they fixed it since then, so I can show you an attack and hopefully be successful at it and show you how the whole frontier capture system works. I only have, if we go into our Warband section, about 4.5 minutes before this battle starts, so let me go over some quick stuff before we jump onto the battlefield. Basically, how you even start these frontier battles is you're first going to want to join a hive with you and some friends. That is a 4-person little mini group, and then ultimately create a warband. And a warband is basically a collection of multiple hive groups. You can have up to 80 people, I believe. Right now it's just me and my buddy, so we only have a 2-man hive and a 2-man warband, but I think you can have up to like 80 total people potentially if you want. If you go to overview, yeah, there's 80 total members that you can have in these, so you can get a pretty big warband if a lot of you ally and kind of group up into one big group. The particular territory that I'm trying to solo and take down right now actually has 75 members, so, or 72 maybe, so it's a very big hive. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that no one shows up for this battle, or else it might turn into a 1v30 plus, or actually it'd be 1v16, because in these frontier battles, another thing I forgot to mention is you can only choose up to 16 players to attack and 16 players to defend, so that's one thing to keep in mind, and you kind of vote within your group of who wants to do be the warriors for that battle. But how it really works, and I got to do this kind of quick because I want to get right onto the battlefield because you're limited on time, is whoever is the leader of your warband, and in this particular scenario I'm the leader of ours, we will be recruiting people. So if you guys want to join us, click the links in the description and join the Discord. I have a channel in there for signups. Once the next beta drops and the official game, we will be adding a bunch more people. But that being said, whoever the leader of the warband is can go to the Declare War tab, and this will give you a list of every single one of the available frontiers on the map. If it's grayed out, that means it hasn't been captured yet. You'll see this a lot earlier in the season when people haven't progressed as far. But when it's red, kind of like it is now, that means that some warband within your server has already conquered it. And then what you do is you click on the particular one that you want to attack. In this case, we wanted to do Dry Valley Frontier because it's actually right nearby where our base is. And the minimum required bid, which is these warband funds right here that you need to like bid on a war and see if you win the bid, is 500 warband funds. And you get these by donating to the warband. You click here, donate to Warband Fund, and then you can trade in a bunch of random different parts, which all have a value of how much Warband material you will get once you trade them in. Once you get a minimum of 500, that is the minimum bid, you can bid on a potential frontier war. And at the end, if you go to the Declare War section, once you do that, there's going to be a bid timer. A bidding day ends in 1 day, 16 hours type of thing. So you place your bid, and then other potential warbands have the chance to outbid you. At the end of that duration, whoever has the highest bid wins the chance to attack that particular frontier. And like you see here, we won the bid for this particular war. And so we have a timer now that tells you when the war will actually start, which is in 1 minute and 40 seconds. So let's jump into it. And once you do this, you basically prep your whole team, the 16 players that you decide that want to fight in that battle, and you go to prepare for war. So let's go ahead and do that. And basically what that does is it teleports you. Every single frontier will have 2 bases: an attacker's base, which is basically your spawn point, and a defender's base, which is a spawn point, and then a designated area within that frontier that will have the terminal, basically the frontier like structure terminal, that the attackers have to destroy in order to successfully win that battle. Now, in order for the victory, if no enemies show up, you only have to get the structure down to 50%, or if it's not captured, you only need to get it down to 50%. If it is captured, then you have to fully destroy it. So not only am I hoping that I can fully take this down, not even 50%, but all the way solo. We'll see. I brought a ton of explosives and whatnot. But once you're in and you're about a minute out, it's going to teleport you right outside the PvP zone. You won't be able to fully enter it. But once that timer reaches, and you can see now, you can go to the map and click on the battle, and that we got 24 seconds remaining. Once this reaches 0, you'll see in a second, it's going to teleport us inside the battle zone, and it's going to be like an isolated little battle. And basically my only goal, I actually have a marker there already. There should be a terminal there, and hopefully there's no enemies to defend it. But we got to go there, and our objective is to just take out that terminal. Well, last time I scouted the area, the terminal was just sitting out there in the wide open area. No one was defending it. So hopefully we get lucky here. But once we go in, we're going to try and take down that terminal. And depending on if we win or not, if we do, I'll go over in a little bit more depth. I'll probably do a quick cut and show you how to regain control of it and kind of take over the territory yourself, and the things you need to build to kind of maintain it. So we'll deal with that here in a second. But in the meantime, let's just do a little countdown here. Timing kind of worked out perfectly. Conquest starts. So once that timer starts, you click join, hit yes, and now we're getting teleported into the battle. So here we are, we're at the base. You click confirm. It's going to load in and give you kind of an objective thing. Occupy a frontier allows for the management of extraction sites within that area. Destroy a staroid resonator to occupy the frontier. That is the terminal I was referring to. And wise choices of tactical items make destroying staroid resonators a lighter task. That means bring the gear. So as you can see, we are in the battle now. We only have 24, it was originally 25 minutes to get to this section here and destroy the terminal. So here's to hoping that it spawns properly this time. Let's head over here. And hopefully no one's here defending. We'll see here in a minute if anyone shows up. No one showed up the last time we attempted, and it would have been a free win. It doesn't look like it showed up again. Oh, no, it is here. Ooh, so we might be in luck here. We might be in luck. So the last 2 times we tried doing this, the terminal never spawned. We came into the building to attack this, and nothing showed up. So as you can see, it's got a ton of health. I'm going to just do some damage to it and see what we can get. 99%, 98%. Let's throw some Molotovs on it, see if that does any extra damage. We'll throw some... oh yeah, that's going to burn. Let's do some... C4 here. Let's get out of the vicinity. Do some grenades. Oh yeah, I think we'll get this thing down in time. Perfect. I think we're in luck. Now, this doesn't seem like much right now, but in a high stakes situation, when it's not the very end of the beta test and people are very active, you will have a 16 on 16 PvP battle going on right now, where not only is the attackers going to be trying to defend or attack this terminal, but the defenders are going to be attacking you at the same time, and realistically, you're not going to have open free range on this thing either. They're going to have a base built around it. You're going to have to take out the walls of the base. They'll probably have it guarded by turrets, things like that. So those are all things that you're going to have to take into consideration when you're attacking this. Now, the other thing that I can do here, because I'm sure we'll get this no problem, that I can kind of show off, is in your inventory, there is a battle item called a staroid resonator that you can craft at your synthesis bench. And what this does is, say they do have a massive structure around the terminal, and you can't line of sight see it because it's behind walls and things. What you can do is you can drop down one of these resonators, and then after a little charge up phase, it's going to send out these pulses, and it's going to basically tell you if the resonator is within that radius and kind of hone in and give you a better idea of the exact location of where this little device is. So there's multiple things that you can do to make finding this little generator more easy in a realistic scenario where a ton of people are going to be defending it. And if they have like structures around it and things like that. But we're just burning through this. I'm going to just keep throwing these Molotovs. This is doing a really good job at ticking away this damage. We're going to just burn through these. And we might be attacking this thing here and winning this battle pretty quick here. Almost done. Make sure to bring enough ammo. Should have some other grenades here. Let me just quickly chuck one of these on here. Well, these should do it right here. Let's end it on a bang, shall we? But now, the other thing to keep in mind, I forgot to mention this, is when you first start the battle, if you go to your map, there's going to be an orange ring on the map. See, we just won. Awesome. So victory. No one showed up, thankfully. So now we can exit out of here. And now the frontier, which used to be red, has now turned green to show that it is active and that we won the fight. Now we control this thing, which is pretty cool. Now the next step is we can go in here. It's going to have basically a daily consumption, and you're going to have to repair it, things like that. But what you can do now is unlock a ton of new features as the owner of this frontier. So I'm going to do a quick cut here and basically show you how to set up a defense for the frontier and maintain it. So be right back. All right, you guys, so we're back at the base, and the next steps that you want to look into after capturing and successfully winning your frontier battle is preparing on basically building your defenses and securing it. And the first thing you need to make sure that you have is that one member of your team has to have the ability. If you go to Memetics, they did recently change this. It's now under infrastructure that combined a lot of things together. But this one right here, the resource points contest section, you need to have the formula for security equipment. Once you build this next to one of the frontier refinery silos, that basically allows you to power it up and fully control it and then start defending it. So I've made sure to grab the necessary materials to craft one of those. The other thing that you're going to want to bring materials for is a power supply. So in this particular case, I went with solar panels. They are going to be under infrastructure. Or are they under infrastructure now? Let me double check. It might not be. It might be under logistics. Yeah, they're under logistics. So the first thing here, electrical essentials, you can do a biomass generator. At this point, by the time you start doing PvP, you'll most likely have solar panels or the higher level biogeners, advanced biogeners, or even potentially the highest level solar panels. For the demonstration, I'm only going with a quick, easy single solar panel. So I made sure to grab the supplies for that. One thing I didn't think of is you're obviously gonna, well, we can directly connect it for the demonstration. Bring any extra materials you would need to potentially build a foundation, because it does need to be on a foundation. So we just need some gravel and some wood. So let me go grab a little bit of that. And obviously, in the long run, you're gonna want to do a little bit higher quality materials if you want a better defense for your base, but I'm just doing this really quick for demonstration purposes. We've got to have logs here somewhere. I'll just grab this full stack. So that should be enough to build some foundations, because the solar panels have to be built on a foundation. So that should be good to go. The other thing before we run back to our newly captured frontier is I wanted to go a little bit more in depth on how the Warband system works and the menus within that. So if you go to Get United, you have the Warband tab here. So this is your overview of how many members you have, where you can donate to. I showed that off earlier. A list of all the active members. We went over this as well. This is where you declare war and bid on the frontier battles. You have an overall ranking. So depending on how well your warband does across all of the frontiers that you have captured. There is a ranking system every few days where you collect seasonal points, and the top 3 at the end of the season get a bunch of seasonal rewards. For the beta, it is a bunch of Starcrum, which is very nice for using on the Wish Machine and things like that. And that actually increases as the season goes on, so you get a ton more rewards, and also Great One's Resonance, which can be used for exclusive fashion items once the full game releases, so that's pretty cool. So some really good ranking rewards if you're a high tier warband. The big thing though with your warband, and the reason why you want to try and make allies early on and collect, well, not collect, but capture as many of these frontiers as possible, is your warband will get access to the frontier or the warband shop. And yes, you can buy acid. So using basically the Stardust Resonators, you can buy acid straight up and buy different materials straight up, which is super handy if you have a big stockpile of these. For those of you that don't know, the oil refineries at your frontiers drop premium fuel and those Stardust Resonators. So if you have a ton of these, you could see how your stockpile of Resonators could fill up pretty quick, and you'll have a stockpile of them, so you can use those instead of just using them for like upgrades. You can use them to buy helpful materials, so this is a very good perk here. The other thing is you have Dakini decoding. So once you capture a warband, and I kind of showed this off at the very end before we cut, you get access to a bunch of new features, and depending on which territory you control, when you hover over it, there's going to be details for that one, and it will tell you which basically Prime War boss that you can activate for that particular territory. And this will be a high level, depending on the one you capture, PvE event, where it's going to be you and all of your squad mates working together to defeat a souped up version of whatever boss it is. And by killing that boss, you can get a bunch of additional resources and rare materials that you can use to unlock potential cosmetics, upgrades for your base, things like that. So it's a really good beneficial thing in the late game to take down these huge Primal War bosses. The other perk that you get when defeating those war bosses is you actually have a rank that you earn points towards for the Dakini encoding, and depending on which boss you kill, you have a perception level that you can increase, and within that basically increased tier, you get buffs to take on the Dakini, which is the big tentacle monster and things like that, more easily. So for our frontier, for example, as you saw, Rabizex is the boss. So the 3 potential upgrades we could get for that is HP Perception level 1, which Dakini and its minions take 30% more weak spot damage. The tier 2 buff is Life Ascension 2, which Dakini and its minions deal 25% less damage to you and your party. So a nice little buff there. And then the 3rd tier is HP Perception level 3, where you get weak spot damage plus 30% with an increased shooting range for all participants participating in the Dakini event. So when you get to the late end game, you start fighting that big tentacle final boss. If you have a lot of these frontiers unlocked and your warband is really upgraded and you have these bonuses, it's going to make that Dakini fight a lot more easy. I don't know if any of you have tried it out yet, but it has a ton of health, and it's like a big public event, and it takes a lot of players to take it down. So having these upgrades do give you a nice benefit and buff to make that ultimate fight a little bit easier. So those are the cool things that you can do within your warband, and the benefits to having control of multiple frontiers within your warband. So that is why we do it. Another quick thing before we head over to the frontier and lay down our capture terminal is when you successfully capture a territory for the first time, you will get a letter in the mail, and you can check that, and it'll just say victory in your stronghold conquest when you're attacking the other base, and you do get a bunch of cool rewards right out of the gate. So be sure to claim that and add that to your resource. The crystal choice pack is going to be basically those weapon powders, like the platinum or whatever I think it is. I can actually probably go ahead and open one of these right now and just show you guys what exactly you get. So if we go over, it's probably going to be over here. Nope. Here we go. Let's go ahead and use one of these. So yep, it's going to be the vanadium crystals, iridium crystals, or obviously I'm in the end game, so I'm going to want the highest tier possible. So you can go right there and boom, you get some easy resources out of that. So that is one thing to look forward to as well when you capture it. But from here, you basically want to hop on your bike and head back to the territory that you just captured. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully I've got enough gas to get us there. I'm running pretty low. You're going to want to head back to the frontier. And actually, you don't actually have to head back to the main frontier. You just have to head back to any of the oil rigs within the zone that you now captured. The other thing that I want to bring up is that depending on the size of the frontier that you capture, will determine the number of capture points that that frontier has. So this particular one is quite large. It has 6 engagement zones that you can capture. There is going to be in the lower areas smaller ones that only have 3 and are a little bit more manageable, but ideally the more you have the better. The other thing to take into consideration is once your warband captures a frontier, the same hive within that warband does not have to capture every engagement zone. Multiple hives can capture these. So if we had right now, like I said, we have a smaller warband. It's literally just me and my buddy in our Synapse hive in here. So in theory, we would just go ahead and cap all these, but say you had 5 or 6 hives in your warband, you could basically pool your resources and have 1 hive each capture each particular engagement zone separately and have multiple hives helping defend the frontier together, so that 1 hive isn't responsible for doing all of them at once. You can kind of divvy up the engagement zones and have each little hive defend each one on their own. So that's a nice little perk. But once you pick one that you want, you're going to go over here and interact with the engagement zone, and you're going to notice that it says not occupied, and that is because we haven't laid down that securement totem yet. So the next thing you're going to want to do is go into your build menu, and under facilities and outdoor, we will have this unlocked now. You're going to want to click this and then just lay it down right in front of, and you can move this after the fact, but you're going to want to lay it down right in the engagement zone. And now what you can do is see that where it said not occupied, it now says that Synapse, which is our hive, is now controlling this territory, and we can start collecting the Stardust Resonators and the premium fuel that spawn from the refinery. Now you can sit here all day long and this is not going to increase, and that's because you will not see any of the resources start building up until you supply power to this little security equipment here. So that is when the next step comes in. You're going to want to open up your build menu again, build a little foundation, and then from here you're going to want to build your power supply. Go into facilities, power generation. In this instance, I'm just going to build a solar panel because I don't have to worry about putting fuel in it. And then you're going to do the same old thing you would in your base, connect a electrical cable from the power supply to your security equipment, and now it is up and running. You'll see the little thing here activate, and now you can actually interact with it. And now when you interact with it, you're going to see that just like your base, you're going to have a daily consumption that you have to maintain so that it doesn't decay and disintegrate. So we might as well just go ahead and throw these in here so we don't have to worry about it. That'll be a few days worth right there, almost a week's worth of supplies. So we won't have to worry about this upgrading. I'm assuming that just like your base, once you build out more defenses and have bigger walls in the vicinity, throw down some turrets for defenses, things like that, and you have more stuff in that little territory, the daily consumption is going to increase and you're going to have to put more materials to maintain it. But because we just have a simple power supply and a platform right now, it's going to be next to nothing. So no big deal there. Obviously, same thing as your base as well. You can repair on the repair tab. Now, the next thing you're going to want to worry about is once you get the power supply running to the security equipment, you're going to want to go back into the engagement zone panel and go to details, hit F, and in here it's going to start showing the output of what your refinery is doing. Now with one solar panel you can increase it to a maximum of 50 watts for power. It's only using 15 watts, but the power supply will get to 50%. You will need a total of, I think, 3 solar panels in total to be able to max this out to 100%. And basically what this represents is how frequently and how much the yield is going to be every certain amount of hours that this ticks to generate the Stardust source and the premium barrel fuel. So right now it's saying that the power supply output is increasing plus 50%. So that's giving us a nice little bonus. And as you hover over these, you can see that at 0, the overall output efficiency is 79 Stardust per hour, and the barrel fuel is 9 premium fuel per hour. At 25, it increases to 99 Stardust an hour and 11 fuel. At 50%, which is what we're at now with 1 solar panel, it's going to be 119 Stardust per hour with 13 premium fuel an hour. And we'll go up to 100%, for example. That will be giving you 160 Stardust an hour and 18 premium fuel. So hours, I mean, if you log out, you're gone for a couple hours, you could come back, and as long as no one has stolen from you, you can see how these Stardust sources will build up very, very fast. And it's basically going to be an unlimited supply of Stardust sources and premium fuel for your things like the Hive truck and the other upgrades that you would need for energy and whatnot. So a very good thing to try and take control of early and maintain in the late game. Ideally, if you have a big enough warband, you're going to want to try and capture as many of these frontiers as possible across the map. We've only seen a fraction of the map, and there's dozens of these frontiers scattered throughout all over the place, as you can see already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's tons of them. I mean, we can do a quicker list here just by going to the Warband tab, going to declare war. So you can see that even in just the beta, there's like 20 plus frontiers just in this little corner of the map that we can cap. So imagine once the full game releases, how many there's going to be total and how many opportunities you're going to have to capture these. But yeah, as long as you're maintaining the defenses and controlling them, it is going to be a big bonus to you and your warband. You can go in there every hour, like I said, collect that Stardust, collect that premium fuel. It's going to be super, super handy, and it's just going to give you more bonuses in the long run, like I said, for the bikini fights and things like that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Long story short, once all of this is set up, the only other thing you want to try and do after that is just increase your defenses. So right now I just have a simple platform with a solar panel, but eventually I'll build some walls around this. I'll add multiple solar panels to have 3 or 4 of them hooked up to the security equipment. I'll add some turrets for automatic defenses. I know that once you rank up even higher, you can start hiring mercenaries, basically, which are just like enemy NPCs that'll actually defend this for you. So you have like armored soldiers that'll fight the enemies that try and come into your territory as well on top of your turrets. So there's a lot of cool, unique things that you can do to help defend these little frontiers. Like I mentioned before, we're at the end of the beta, so it was pretty easy to take this one over. But the PvP battles are going to be a lot more intense in the final game and probably in the next beta when things are a little bit more hyped up and popping and the servers are a little more active. But yeah, so it's a really fun aspect to the game. And obviously, not only are you going to want to defend your individual refineries, but like I mentioned during the attack phase, you're going to want to build an entire facility around the main terminal for the overall frontier as well to defend that, because that's what the attackers are going to be aiming towards. So you're going to build a whole nother group base up there with multiple turrets and defenses set up there and traps and everything. So it's a fun little mechanic that they added into the game that once you get a fun group, a big warband together, those huge battles are really fun. So definitely something to look forward to. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this guide. I wanted to make this before the beta ends. I know we only got a couple days left. It's been fun. I appreciate all of your guys' support during this beta. It's been blowing up on the channel, and I can't express the gratitude I have to all the feedback I've been getting from you guys down in the comments. This may be the last video I make for this beta until the next one starts in March or April. So hopefully you stick around with me. I know I took a poll on the channel, and I mentioned that we may be playing Enshrouded, which is another great survival game that is actually going into early access on the 24th of January, so that's in a couple days. So I may start playing that and making some content for that to hold us over until the next one's human beta starts. But until then, you guys, I hope everyone has a great day. I hope to see you around. Join us in the Discord. Links are in the description below. Yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, and see you all later.